What does it truly mean to live on less than $1 a day? Imagine a world where the basics of life, food, water, shelter, are not guaranteed, but a daily struggle. This is the harsh reality for many across the African continent, where economic challenges are not just statistics, but everyday battles. In Africa, several nations face extreme poverty, which is not merely about low incomes, but encompasses a lack of access to healthcare, education, and opportunities that many of us take for granted. Understanding these issues is crucial not only for those directly affected, but for anyone who is part of this interconnected world. It's about recognizing that behind each number there is a human story of resilience and survival. Poverty in Africa is deeply rooted in various factors, including historical conflicts, political instability, environmental challenges, and global economic disparities. These elements combine to create a complex tapestry that affects millions. Now let's dive into the lives of those in the 10 poorest countries in Africa, exploring why such poverty exists. First on our list, Burundi, often ranked as the poorest in Africa. Tucked away in East Africa, Burundi is a nation where the echoes of civil strife reverberate through its economic corridors. The country's GDP per capita remains staggeringly low, painting a vivid picture of the widespread poverty that grips its population. The roots of this economic malaise can largely be traced back to years of political instability and devastating civil wars that have left deep scars on both the land and its people. Agriculture stands as the backbone of Burundi's economy, employing over 80% of the population. However, this sector is fraught with challenges, primarily due to the relentless beast that is climate change. Erratic weather patterns, from droughts to floods, consistently threaten the livelihoods of farmers, exacerbating the already precarious food security situation. Despite these overwhelming challenges, the spirit of the Burundian people remains unbroken. Their resilience in the face of such adversity is nothing short of inspiring. Burundi's tale is one of resilience amid turmoil. But what about its neighbors? A land abundant in minerals, yet its people among the poorest. Welcome to the Democratic Republic of the Congo, a country that epitomizes the stark contrast between natural wealth and human poverty. Beneath the soil lies a treasure trove of resources: cobalt, diamonds, gold, and more. These minerals are essential components in everything from smartphones to electric cars, driving a global demand that seems insatiable. However, this abundance is not reflected in the lives of the Congolese people. The wealth generated by these natural resources has been overshadowed by decades of corruption and mismanagement. From the times of colonial exploitation to the present day, the profits from these vast resources have often ended up in the pockets of a select few, leaving little for the community at large. Adding to the turmoil, ongoing civil unrest and conflict fueled by these very minerals have further destabilized the region, making everyday life for its citizens precarious and fraught with challenges. Resource wealth has sadly not translated to wealth for its citizens. In Mozambique, natural disasters strike an already struggling economy. This Southeast African nation faces a relentless barrage of challenges, with its economic status heavily burdened by the frequent cyclones and devastating floods. Each year, these natural calamities sweep through, displacing thousands, destroying homes, and wiping out crucial agricultural lands that are the backbone of its economy. The aftermath is a dire picture: communities submerged, infrastructure in ruins, and a slow, painful path to recovery. Mozambique's battle is not just against nature's fury, but also against the enormous weight of foreign debts. These debts significantly hinder the country's ability to rebuild and develop resilient systems against future disasters. Efforts to reconstruct are further complicated by the need for international aid, which often comes with its own set of challenges and delays. The cycle of rebuilding after each disaster stretches resources thin, leaving little for preventive measures or economic development. Natural and financial storms keep Mozambique in a constant battle for stability. An island nation, isolated not just geographically but economically. Madagascar, a land of lush rainforests and unique wildlife, faces economic challenges that stem largely from its isolation. This isolation has fostered a heavy reliance on agriculture, which employs about 80% of the population but is vulnerable to the whims of weather and global market prices. Political instability has further complicated matters. Frequent changes in governance disrupt economic progress and deter foreign investment, which is crucial for economic development. The absence of strong, consistent policies makes it difficult for Madagascar to establish itself in international markets, where it could trade its vanilla, cloves, and other native commodities for much-needed revenue. Moreover, this isolation affects more than just the economy. Access to healthcare is severely limited, compounding the challenges faced by its population in both rural and urban areas. Madagascar's splendid biodiversity contrasts sharply with its economic isolation, painting a picture of a nation rich in natural beauty, yet struggling to connect with the global community that could help it thrive. In Malawi, most depend on a plow and hope. Nestled in the heart of southern Africa, Malawi's economy is deeply rooted in agriculture, a sector that shoulders the livelihood of over 80% of its population. Here, the land is both a lifeline and a battleground, with countless farmers relying on their harvests to survive. The challenges, however, are formidable. Climate change casts a long shadow over these fields, bringing unpredictable weather patterns that result in either droughts or floods. Such extremes can devastate crop yields, pushing the already thin margins of survival to their breaking point. Add to this a high population density, which means there's less arable land per capita, intensifying the struggle for resources. Compounding these agricultural hurdles is the HIV/AIDS epidemic, which has deeply scarred the workforce. Many farmers, who are the backbone of the economy, find themselves battling not just the elements, but their own health, impairing their ability to cultivate the land. Surviving on the edge, Malawi's people fight poverty with every harvest. Liberia, still recovering from the shadows of war. In the heart of West Africa, Liberia's tale is one of resilience and ongoing struggle. The civil wars that ravaged this nation from 1989 to 2003 left a legacy of destruction that is hard to forget. The wars not only claimed lives, but also shattered the country's infrastructure. Roads, hospitals, and schools fell into disrepair, severely disrupting daily life and economic stability. The impact on education has been particularly devastating. A generation of children missed out on schooling, creating a ripple effect on literacy and employment rates. Today, despite efforts to rebuild, the educational system struggles to regain its footing, affecting prospects for economic growth and development. Rebuilding has been slow, and Liberia has become heavily dependent on international aid. This reliance poses its own set of challenges, as the nation strives to find a balance between immediate relief and sustainable development. The road to recovery is long and winding for Liberia. In Niger, the expanding Sahara meets limited opportunities. This vast country, predominantly desert, grapples with the relentless march of desertification. Each year, fertile land vanishes beneath sand, making agriculture, an essential lifeline for many, increasingly difficult. Niger also contends with one of the highest birth rates in the world. This rapid population growth places immense pressure on its scant natural resources, complicating efforts towards development and sustainability. Moreover, the presence of insurgent groups in the region has escalated security concerns, severely undermining the nation's economic stability. These groups disrupt trade routes and discourage foreign investment, further isolating Niger from potential economic partnerships. Despite these formidable challenges, the spirit of the Nigerian people remains unbroken. They continue to seek paths forward, leveraging even the smallest opportunities to forge a better future. Niger faces a tough climb out of poverty amidst environmental and security challenges. Central African Republic, where conflict is the biggest barrier to development. In the very heart of Africa, the Central African Republic has been embroiled in a cycle of violence and political instability that seems never-ending. This nation, rich in diamonds, gold, and uranium, might have been one of the continent's success stories. Yet, the reality is starkly different. Armed conflicts rage across the region, with multiple factions fighting for control. This constant unrest disrupts every aspect of life. Farmers can't reach their fields, businesses are destroyed, and entire communities are displaced. The instability makes it nearly impossible to sustain any form of government or social structure. The repercussions are severe. Access to basic necessities like clean water, healthcare, and education becomes a luxury few can afford. Hospitals struggle to operate without supplies, and schools often remain closed for fear of attacks. In this environment, the future of the Central African Republic hangs in a delicate balance, with development stalled at every turn by the sounds of gunfire. In the heart of Africa, peace remains elusive, and so does prosperity. Understanding poverty in Africa isn't just about numbers and statistics. As we've journeyed through the landscapes of the 10 poorest countries in Africa, we've seen a tapestry woven with the threads of political instability, environmental challenges, and deep-rooted social issues. From Burundi's economic struggles at the very bottom to the resource-rich yet impoverished Democratic Republic of the Congo, each nation tells a story of hardship tangled with hope. In Mozambique, cyclones disrupt lives as frequently as the tides, while Madagascar remains isolated from much of the world's prosperity. Malawi's farmers teeter on the brink, cultivating on the edge of survival. Liberia still grapples with the scars of war, and Niger battles the relentless desert, seeking opportunities where there seem to be none. The Central African Republic sits at the heart of conflict, its pulse weak but resilient. These stories aren't just tales of despair, but are calls to action. They highlight the urgent need for sustainable solutions that address the multifaceted nature of poverty. Awareness is the first step towards action. Together, we can contribute to a future where poverty is part of history, not everyday reality.